everyone, welcome to the new video. In this video we are going to see types of tragedy, as we have discussed what is tragedy and how does Aristotle define tragedy in our previous video. So in this video we are going to see types of tragedy. So are you ready? Yes, let's get started. So it has been stated earlier that the division of drama in four types is broad, and the play can be subdivided further. As far as tragedy is concerned, the major types that we have to talk into account: the Greek tragedy, the Shakespearean tragedy, the Restoration tragedy, and the modern tragedy. So first see the first Greek tragedy. Greek tragedy, and for that matter Greek drama, is beginning of the dramatic literature of all over the world, right? For the Greeks, all literature was poetry, and there were three types of it: epic, dramatic, and lyrics. In short, the Greek drama was in poetry form. Another significant aspect of Greek drama was that it was performed in broad daylight on the side of some hill. The spectators sat on the hillside and the plays were performed at the foot of the hill. The time was normally evening and the site was east of the hill, as there is shade at the place during this period. The story presented in the tragedy was one of man of high birth. His tragedy was due to two significant factors. One is the flaw in hero. The flaw is called tragic flaw, hamartia. But the Greeks believed that a human being is tied down to his or her fate. Fate rules his life. So even if he tries to shake himself out of these problems, fate does not let him to do that. In other words, he is a puppet in the hand of fate. Fate and tragic flaw, called hamartia in Greek language, brought about the downfall of the tragic protagonist. So this is how Greek tragedy used to be performed. So let's see our next type, that is the Elizabethan tragedy or Shakespearean tragedy. The Elizabethan period is the period of history of England. Queen Elizabeth I ruled England. She was a Tudor queen. Historians describe this period as the golden age of English literature. The term Elizabethan literature simply indicates the body of literature produced during her regime. The people who really contributed to the wealth of literature during this period were Sir Philip Sidney, my favorite, of course, Edmund Spenser, Christopher Marlowe, and the greatest of them all, William Shakespeare, a poet as well as the greatest dramatist England has produced. No wonder this age, as far as literature is concerned, is also known as the age of Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a supporter of drama and had his own dramatic company. Humor was not ruled out of Elizabethan tragedy. Othello is without humor, but the other three great tragedy of Shakespeare have humor in it. King Lear has a humor in ample measure. Okay, so next we have Restoration tragedy. So the Restoration tragedy is a peculiar dramatic type that evolved during the Restoration period. It is a genre that is much different from the earlier Elizabethan tragedy. Actually, the term indicates the restoration of Charles II to the throne of England in between the end of Elizabethan period and the Restoration. The theatres were closed and the drama suffered a powerful setback as a result. The reopening of the theatre saw a re-emergence of drama, but it was much different from the earlier tradition. Drama during Restoration period was written in heroic couplets, and hence it is also called heroic drama. If the play was a tragedy, it was called heroic or Restoration tragedy. A heroic couplet was a rhyming couplet when each line was iambic pentameter. The adjective heroic was appended to the couplet in the 17th century because the form was mostly used by the dramatist to present the heroic tales. However, the stanza was not limited to drama. Even Alexander Pope has used it very effectively in his poetry. So this is our video on types of tragedy. If you have any doubts, then let me know in comment section. So see you soon. Okay, bye.